5 years ago today, a historic windstorm hit the inland northwest, killing 2 people and leaving thousands of people without power for days. Nearly 200,000 homes and businesses lost power, and many suffered incredible damage. In Spokane alone, wind ripped 800 trees from the ground, and first responders fielded more than 600 calls for help.
Up with KREM begins now.
Well, good morning and welcome to Up with KREM. Great to have you with us here as we kick off our Tuesday morning and a special edition of Up with KREM. I'm Jen York, live here on the Spokane South Hill. Today marks 5 years since the devastating November 17th, 2015 windstorm. In a matter of 9 hours, we had more than a year of cleanup work to do, and we were left with millions of dollars worth of damage. Now, at this moment, 5 years ago today, on this program, we warned you at home to prepare for this potentially deadly storm. We knew the storm was on the way. We warned that it could be one for the record books, and still, the complete devastation following the storm is something those of us who lived through it will remember. Those gusts, those wind gusts, hit up to about 71 miles per hour at the Spokane International Airport. Of course, much stronger gusts throughout the region. But this is the equivalent to about a Category 1 hurricane. It actually set the record for the strongest non-thunderstorm winds in the region. And the wind howled for 9 hours, but it left some homes without power for up to 2 weeks. And perhaps no business was more impacted than the power company itself. Avista received heavy criticism for how long it took to fully restore electricity. The crews actually had to bring in help from California to help restore the power. Following the storm, leaders created an app for customers to better report those outages and exactly what happened and what caused it. They also now study the 2015 storm in its official training process.
Hopefully there's going to be fewer outages, and we know our members are really going to appreciate that as well.
Of line underground. Now, across state line, FEMA stepped in to help cover repairs. It granted Kootenai Electric $10 million to repair downed power lines. And crews actually used that money to help bury 50 miles of line underground. In the event that we do see another strong windstorm here in the future, that will help prevent power outages and trees falling on power lines. But of course, one of the most devastating parts of this 2015 windstorm is it was deadly. 2 people lost their lives that night, and it includes a Spokane woman. She was 54. She was killed after a tree fell on her on the lower South Hill. That is near 14th and Grand. Firefighters received a call the tree had knocked down a few power lines in the area, and when they arrived, they later found that tree had fallen on that woman. But as we would later learn, she would have a huge impact on the Spokane skyline. Nicole Hernandez is joining us now to tell us more about her lasting legacy here in Spokane. Hi, Nicole.
Yeah, good morning. So Leanne Scott is one of the co-designers of this sculpture right here, and it's one of many that Scott actually has across the entire Spokane area and the United States. So these 2 sculptures, there's one here on one of the other side, the 2 of them went up in 2019, and it was a reminder of Scott's influence on our area. She also has several sculptures around the United States, not just here in Spokane. But unfortunately, Scott lost her life in the 2015 windstorm after a large tree fell on top of her. First responders showed up after a 911 call but couldn't save her life. She was just outside her house when it happened. So even though that happened 5 years ago, this sculpture and the one on the other side just went up about a year and a half ago. You can see here, this one is called Rooted, the one on this side of the bridge, because of the reflection pointing down towards the ground. And then the sister sculpture on the other side of the bridge points up towards the sky, has the reflection reaching the sky, and that one is called Soaring. Live in Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
Nicole, thank you so much for bringing us that story, and highly recommend, if you haven't had a chance to check out those sculptures in person, put it on your to-do list. It really is beautiful here in Spokane. Now, of course, it took about a year to clean up all the damage from windstorm, and That's okay. Mostly now, if you go throughout the inland Northwest, you're not going to see as much damage as you would, of course, 5, 4, maybe even 3 years ago. But there is one long-term effect that we are still seeing today, and that is a local baby boom. And 2 doctors that we talked to at the time directly relate this to windstorm. They say there was an uptick in births stemming from people stuck inside during the storm.
We saw a big bump that was coming in July, August. A couple months or a month and a half earlier than what we would normally see, and we really attributed that to the windstorm.
We have seen an increase in births here 9 months after the windstorm. We've had approximately 22 more births than what we saw last year at this time.
Of course, those babies are now 4 years old. And this morning we will continue our coverage here on the 5th anniversary of the 2015 windstorm. If you're one of the parents of those windstorm babies, we'd love to hear from you, but we'd also want to hear from everyone else what you remember from that day. We'll be sharing some of your memories coming up later on in the show. You can text us at 509-448-2000. Reporting live here on the South Hill, I'm Jen York. Back to you.
And Jen, you know, I've been reading some of those texts that have been coming in, and they're absolutely incredible. I'm looking at some of those pictures. It's difficult to wrap your head around something you didn't personally live through, and it's just downright incredible. We'll have much more on that coming up. But let's get you out the door with what to expect today in terms of weather. A little bit of cloud cover out there right now, especially if you're over in Coeur d'Alene, but look at that. A little bit of wind comes with that cloud cover as well. That wind was doing a decent job of keeping us mild early on this morning. All right, shot froze. I promise there's wind there. Temperatures in the mid and upper 30s early on this morning in North Idaho and far northeastern parts of Washington. Pullman, Moscow, right around 50 degrees early on. Omak 34, Libby 33. Everybody is above freezing, even some of those places that picked up quite a bit of snow last week. So it's a warm morning, no doubt about that, and we stay warm throughout much of the day today. Notice the round of showers scoots through Coeur d'Alene. You'll get in on some of those. Here in Spokane, maybe a few stray sprinkles or light drizzle is about it today. Tomorrow we have a much better chance of seeing some of that shower activity. Temperatures go from the upper 30s to the mid 50s later on today. It is going to be a warm one here in town, especially considering our high temperature should be more than 10 degrees colder than what you're looking at right now. So it's warm, but Tim, there is a big change in the works.
All right, Jeremy, we know you'll continue tracking this for us. We'll check back in with you a little bit later. At 7:37 now, it's time for your morning rush, more news in less time.
Spokane police are looking for a missing 79-year-old man and his dog. Take a look at your screen. This is Michael Lehan. He is described as a white male, 5'10" and 195 pounds, with brown eyes and gray balding hair. He should be driving a red 2003 Acura Coupe with tabs that expired in 2018. His license plate reads AFR 9748. Lehan should be traveling with his dog as well. His family says the last time they spoke with him was Saturday. With the new restrictions in place, small businesses and restaurants do expect to see declining business, especially in the hospitality industry, which includes restaurants, theaters, and hotels. Now they have some extra time to apply for the Spokane Hospitality Relief Grant. The date to apply has been extended to November 18th, so tomorrow at 5 p.m. Businesses can receive up to $20,000 in aid, and to qualify, you must have 249 or fewer employees and must have been established before March 1st. To apply, just head to the website you see on your screen right now.
Well, the Grant County Health District is asking anyone who attended a large wedding near Ritzville 2 Saturdays ago to get tested for COVID-19. The wedding was held in a private location on November 7th. We're told that more than 300 people attended that wedding. Now, at least 17 Grant County coronavirus cases have been confirmed and more being added daily. Anyone who attended the wedding is being asked to self-quarantine through this Saturday, November 21st. Under new restrictions, weddings are allowed with only 30 people. No indoor receptions are allowed.
And that's your morning rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM. Coming up, Thanksgiving is next week here in the United States, but Canadian Thanksgiving was over a month ago. I'll be taking a look at what we can learn from our neighbors to the north when it comes to containing the spread of the coronavirus during the holidays.
And Spokane County saw a record number of cases over the weekend. We're back with the 3 things you need to know on this Tuesday.